A single breath changed everything. The orphan maid froze outside the grand drawing room when she noticed something impossible. Behind the enormous antique mirror, hidden inside a secret chamber, stood the richest man in the city, silently watching his own wife without her knowledge. His face carried no love, no trust, only cold calculation. But within minutes, the innocent maid would uncover a truth so dark that it would destroy the billionaire's carefully built world and force every person inside the mansion to question what loyalty, love, and forgiveness truly meant. If you believe in kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel to become part of our growing community. The Ashford estate stood proudly on a green hillside where sunlight poured across endless gardens, sparkling fountains, and white marble paths every morning. Everyone admired the luxurious mansion from the outside, believing it was the perfect home for success and happiness. Few people knew that behind its elegant walls lived hearts burdened with fear, loneliness, and painful secrets. Cedric Ashford had built one of Europe's largest technology companies before turning 40. Newspapers described him as brilliant, fearless, and impossible to deceive. His employees respected him, investors admired him, and competitors feared him. Yet years of betrayal in business had hardened him until he trusted almost no one. Every smile looked suspicious. Every promise sounded temporary. Every act of kindness seemed to hide a selfish motive. His wife, Meredith, had entered his life 5 years earlier. She came from a respected family and had devoted herself to charity, hospitals, and children's education. Friends described her as graceful and compassionate, but Cedric could never fully believe anyone's goodness. Somewhere deep inside, he remained convinced that everyone eventually revealed hidden greed. Unknown to Meredith, Cedric had ordered secret renovations throughout the mansion. Hidden corridors connected several rooms. Small observation spaces were concealed behind decorative walls. The most elaborate feature was a concealed chamber behind the giant mirror in the drawing room, allowing him to watch conversations without being seen. He convinced himself it was simply another way to discover the truth about people. Working quietly inside the mansion was a young orphan maid named Clara Weston. She had grown up in foster homes after losing both parents in a highway accident before she was old enough to remember their faces. Life had taught her endurance instead of bitterness. She worked carefully, treated everyone respectfully, and found happiness in helping others even when nobody noticed. Most servants ignored Clara because she rarely spoke about herself. Meredith, however, always remembered her birthday, asked about her health, and encouraged her to continue studying through evening classes. Those small acts of kindness meant more to Clara than expensive gifts ever could. One bright afternoon, while dusting shelves in the drawing room, Clara accidentally brushed against an old bronze ornament. A quiet click echoed through the wall. Part of the mirror slowly shifted, revealing a narrow hidden space. Before she could step away, she saw Cedric standing silently inside, watching Meredith as she organized donations for a children's shelter. Fear rushed through Clara's body. She immediately understood that this secret room had not been built for decoration. She carefully closed the hidden entrance without making a sound, but the discovery stayed with her all day. She tried convincing herself there must be an innocent explanation. Yet every memory of Cedric's suspicious behavior suddenly felt different. Over the following days, Clara quietly noticed strange patterns. Cedric frequently disappeared before important family meetings. Somehow he always knew private conversations he should never have heard. Servants were dismissed after confidential discussions, even though no one had spoken openly outside the room. The hidden chamber explained everything. Meanwhile, Meredith became increasingly worried about her husband. She believed stress from managing a massive company had isolated him emotionally. Instead of becoming angry, she worked even harder to bring warmth back into their marriage. She organized charity events, invited old friends, and encouraged peaceful family lunches under the afternoon sun. Every effort was met with polite distance. Cedric secretly interpreted her kindness as manipulation. One afternoon he decided to perform another test. He intentionally placed documents suggesting that most of his fortune would soon be transferred into a charitable foundation. Then he hid behind the mirror, expecting Meredith to complain or reveal disappointment once she believed herself alone. Instead, he watched her smile gently. She spent several minutes writing letters to hospitals, discussing plans for children's medical equipment, and calculating how many lives could improve if more money reached families instead of remaining in private accounts. She never once mentioned personal wealth. Cedric frowned. The reaction did not fit his expectations. Still unwilling to abandon his suspicions, he convinced himself she was simply pretending. Clara happened to enter the room carrying fresh flowers. As she arranged them, she noticed the tiny reflection inside the mirror revealing Cedric's hidden eyes. Her heart pounded. She realized Meredith was unknowingly living inside an invisible prison of constant observation. The burden became unbearable. For several days Clara wrestled with fear. If she exposed Cedric, she would almost certainly lose her job. She had nowhere else to live. Her savings barely covered a few weeks of rent. Yet remaining silent meant allowing a kind woman to continue living under deception. Finally, conscience defeated fear. During a sunny afternoon tea in the garden, Clara quietly approached Meredith and respectfully asked her to trust her for only a few minutes. Meredith noticed genuine concern rather than gossip. Together they entered the drawing room. Clara gently pressed the hidden ornament. The mirror slowly opened. Cedric stood frozen inside the narrow chamber. Silence filled the room. The truth needed no explanation. Meredith did not cry. She did not shout. The disappointment in her eyes carried far more weight than anger ever could. Cedric stepped forward expecting accusations, but instead found himself facing the consequences of his own fears. The woman he had watched for years looked at him as though she no longer recognized the man she married. For the first time in many years, Cedric felt ashamed. Not because he had been discovered. Because he suddenly saw himself through someone else's eyes. The servants gradually learned that the hidden room existed. Rumors spread through the estate. Respect turned into quiet discomfort. Employees who once admired Cedric began questioning whether trust could ever exist under constant surveillance. Business partners soon heard whispers as well. Several important executives privately admitted they had always sensed Cedric's inability to trust others but never imagined it had reached such extremes. The scandal threatened not only his marriage but also the culture of his entire company. Days passed beneath bright summer skies without a single meaningful conversation between husband and wife. Meredith moved into a guest suite overlooking the gardens. She continued her charitable work exactly as before. She refused revenge. She refused public humiliation. She simply chose honesty over appearances. Clara expected dismissal every morning. Instead, Meredith thanked her for choosing integrity despite the personal risk. Cedric wandered through the mansion feeling strangely alone. The hidden chambers that once made him feel secure now resembled prison cells. One afternoon he entered the small orphanage Meredith regularly supported. Children laughed while painting colorful pictures under warm sunlight. None of them cared about wealth or status. They cared about encouragement, attention, and hope. One little boy proudly handed Cedric a drawing showing a family holding hands beneath a bright blue sky. The child explained that families stayed together only when everyone could see each other's faces. Those innocent words pierced Cedric's heart more deeply than any business failure. For the first time, memories returned from his own childhood. His father had secretly monitored everyone in their home, believing betrayal waited behind every smile. Cedric had hated growing up under constant suspicion. Without realizing it, he had recreated the same prison inside his own marriage. The realization broke something inside him. Healing began not with grand speeches but with difficult actions. Cedric ordered every hidden passage sealed permanently. He invited independent inspectors to confirm every secret observation room had been destroyed. He apologized personally to every servant whose privacy he had violated. Some accepted immediately. Others needed time. He also addressed every employee at company headquarters during a daytime gathering streamed across every office. Instead of defending himself, he admitted that fear had become stronger than wisdom. He promised to rebuild trust through transparency rather than control. Many people were surprised by his honesty. Meredith watched quietly from the audience. She saw not the proud billionaire she had married, but a deeply wounded man finally confronting his own past. Even then, forgiveness did not come instantly. Trust, once broken, demanded patience. Weeks turned into months. Cedric attended counseling. He spent more time volunteering beside Meredith than attending luxury galas. Instead of making donations only with money, he helped renovate community centers, painted classrooms, and served meals at shelters. Clara continued studying in the evenings. Without telling her, Cedric established an education fund covering university expenses for every employee who wished to continue learning. He made sure the scholarships were awarded anonymously so no one would feel indebted. Eventually Clara discovered the truth but chose only to thank him quietly. She had learned that genuine change rarely arrived through dramatic promises. It appeared through consistent actions repeated every day. One bright autumn afternoon the Family Foundation opened a new learning center for children without parents. Meredith stood beside Cedric as dozens of young students ran across the courtyard laughing beneath the afternoon sun. There were no hidden mirrors. No secret rooms. No silent tests. Only open doors. Before the ceremony ended, Cedric publicly acknowledged the woman who had unknowingly saved his life. He explained that courage sometimes arrived wearing an ordinary uniform instead of an expensive suit. He thanked Clara for risking everything to protect truth over comfort. The audience rose in heartfelt applause. Clara smiled through grateful tears. She realized that being an orphan had never defined her worth. Her honesty had changed lives far beyond her own. Before this story comes to its close, take a moment to leave a meaningful comment. Have you ever learned that trust cannot grow where fear controls the heart? Your words may encourage someone facing a similar struggle today. As the afternoon sunlight settled across the peaceful gardens, Cedric and Meredith walked side by side without pretending the past had never happened. They understood that forgiveness was not forgetting. It was choosing to build something stronger from broken pieces. Clara watched children fill the new learning center with laughter and hope, knowing that one brave decision had transformed pain into healing. The mansion that once hid secrets had become a place of honesty, compassion, and second chances, proving that even the hardest heart can change when truth is met with courage and love. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. May this story remind you that trust is earned through honesty, love grows through forgiveness, and sometimes the greatest heroes are ordinary people who choose to do the right thing when it is hardest.